Every family has a story. Every life leaves a legacy. And they often leave behind someone they truly love. But life and calamities happen every single day. And those are the types of things that happen before we found you. These are the stories and investigations behind forgotten assets. Our first episode is about Miss Evelyn. Like many people, Evelyn lived a long life, built relationships, paid bills, purchased insurance, and conducted countless financial transactions during her life. After she passed away, her obituary told the story of the people she left behind, but it didn't tell the story of the financial transactions that continued well after her death. But what happens exactly to your money after you die? Where does that money go? There are many legal aspects of an estate, but for today's discussion, think of an estate as the paper trail that directs what happens to your money, your property, and your financial transactions after you pass away in accordance with your wishes. So let's take a look at Ray Dalio's simple explanation describing your financial transactions.
An economy is simply the sum of the transactions that make it up, and a transaction is a very simple thing. You make transactions all the time. Every time you buy something, you create a transaction. Each transaction consists of a buyer exchanging money or credit with a seller for goods, services, or financial assets. Credit spends just like money, so adding together the money spent and the amount of credit spent, you can know the total spending. The total amount of spending drives the economy. If you divide the amount spent by the quantity sold, you get the price. And that's it. That's a transaction. It's the building block of the economic machine. All cycles and all forces in an economy are driven by transactions. So, if we can understand transactions, we can understand the whole economy.
Whether you own a home, a car, a savings account, or a life insurance policy, those financial relationships don't simply disappear. They have to be brought to a proper conclusion. Most transactions end exactly as intended and some don't. Sometimes the final steps never happen. A beneficiary isn't located, a refund isn't delivered, an account becomes dormant, or a check is never cashed. And what happens next? That money just simply slips through the cracks, and eventually it lands in the government's hands. When financial assets cannot be delivered to the rightful owner, many are eventually transferred to a state's unclaimed property program for safekeeping, where they remain until claimed according to state law. While states maintain these programs and provide searchable databases, many people never think to search for themselves or their family members. And as a result, assets can remain unclaimed for years or even decades, and the government is not going to invest too much money or time to let you know the money is available. The rules governing unclaimed property don't remain static. Legislatures periodically amend these laws, and in North Carolina, a recent change placed a cap on the fees that property finders may charge in many cases. Changes like these can affect the economics of private asset recovery services. Depending on the complexity of a case, fewer professionals may be willing or able to pursue certain claims, particularly those that require extensive research and significant upfront costs. And this leads us to Evelyn's case. During our research, we located financial assets connected to Evelyn that surfaced after her passing. These were not assets her family intentionally abandoned. They simply emerged later after her affairs had already been handled. Without additional research, her family might never have known these assets existed. Because of our training and professional experience, we are able to interpret certain public records and connect information from multiple sources to identify opportunities that others might overlook. What could have helped avoid this crack? The following tips could reduce the risk of the item slipping into government hands. Encouraging the executor to review unclaimed property resources after the estate was opened, and in some cases later again if new assets might surface. Keeping estate documentations organized. Reviewing financial affairs periodically. Letting someone know about insurance policies. maintaining a list of financial accounts, telling your family, attorney, or trusted friends where important records are stored, and also keeping beneficiary designations current. Our work begins where many stories end. We research public records, we identify overlooked financial assets, we then locate the families that the abandoned assets belong to. We occasionally mail letters, but most often we visit our clients at their homes. We help guide rightful owners through the recovery process from start to finish. And in most cases, once we are successful, we hand deliver the checks to our clients. Every forgotten asset has a story. This was Evelyn's. And in our next episode, we are going to investigate what happens when one clerical error costs a family thousands. Thank you for watching. If you like this presentation or have comments, please leave them below in the comment section of our YouTube channel. See you next time.